So, welcome to the podcast, Paula Braden. How are you, Paula? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. It's a nice, fresh morning. I
It
can't say
is.
I've been out much yet, but it's definitely fresh.
I have to be brutally honest with our listenership now. I'm not maybe feeling as fresh right now because it is quite early in the morning, and I've just spent all weekend with the New Zealand Nationals. But anyway, that all aside, that was a while ago now. I have to chat to you about the force. Now, we do know that we caught you at the Kids with Cancer charity night,
Yeah,
and you did tell me that the force is now a year old at this point.
yeah, yeah.
How have things been throughout that year, Paula?
Do you know what? Honestly, Rav, it's just been a whirlwind. I'd never, on the launch, it was quite quick, like th from 3 weeks to we launched, it was absolutely mammoth. So I came up with an idea, sit over a cup of coffee in my sunroom, and I thought, yeah, I could run with that. And then before you knew it, it grew legs and tentacles and everything else. And the website was up and running, the domain was purchased, and it was just like it just grew legs really quickly. So at that time, I was in the midst of organising the Ballymoney charity tattoo. So because obviously I didn't know when I was going to really launch, by the time everything was kind of up and running, it just kind of fitted in really, really well that it was actually the Saturday night of that show. And I quickly ran and got t-shirts, and everything was literally, this is what I want to achieve and how quickly can we do it? And so it was pretty much starting off running. So once the website went live on the 1st of April, to say I was overwhelmed with the response was an understatement. I actually thought, what have I done? How am I going to keep up to date with this? Like I have a full-time job, and yeah, so I'm genuinely overwhelmed with the response.
I
So
think
it's been
that's the
wonderful.
big thing. I remember catching up with you at the tattoo
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
and we were chatting about the launch, and everyone had the shirts on, and it was all
yeah,
really exciting. But
yeah.
then I don't know, the gigs started to pour in. Then
Yeah, yeah.
you guys have been
And
playing at everything then this last while.
it's been a wee bit of the force overload. But as I always like to say, and what we've always done is, prior to the force being a formal label, as a teacher, I would have always promoted doing all the locals, doing all the wee stuff, because that's where you build your support in your community. It's lovely doing international stuff, and those are like once in a lifetime trips. But I'm a kind of, giving back type of situation. So it's about doing all those local things to build up that profile. And the force is new. People don't rely on it as Paula Braden or my old existing drum major team. So the force was brand new under a brand new label, not identifying as me, the competitor, but now as a fully functional display team of champion drum majors. So for me, we had to start off at the ground, and whilst all the requests and all the information was overload at the start, I genuinely found all the local stuff really a good starting point again to kind of refocus us. And from COVID, we hadn't been doing a lot, so it was a real chance for us to kind of see what we wanted to, how we wanted to make it work. And the Ballymoney tattoo kind of showcased how successful we want to make it, because that was really well presented and everyone's feedback was phenomenal. So that was a good starting point. As I always say, you're only as good as your last show.
There you go. Well, what a start it was, honestly.
Yeah,
And we released the video and everything of that display, and that really kind of kick-started it for you guys.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
support that you got from the beginning, it's been quite incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah. All over the world, I take this really humbly, because again, it's not under my name, whilst I am the person behind it. But I was very keen that it went out as a display team, that it's all of us that are part of it. And I would have been looking at the statistics, and you would have seen the countries, and like I was just like, this is incredible. Like, how are you going on to this type of platform? And like, look at yourself grabbing the number of followers and from all over the world that wait patiently on one of your podcasts. I find that part really intriguing. I have a Facebook account, and to be honest, I do dabble in my own social media quite a bit, but this was something brand new. This was something that really showed me what happened behind the scenes, and I genuinely was overwhelmed, humbled, and the contacts from major tattoo platforms that were saying like we're already contracted to such and such a date, but you're on our hit list and we're watching out for you. Celtic Live magazines from America and Canada and New Zealand, we're all in contact saying like we want to meet with you, we want to have an interview with you. And again, I was just like, wow, this is incredible.
That's fantastic to see. And all through the world of drum majoring, which sometimes we talk about on the show, does get kind of represented, I guess, in the piping world.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
you're always kind
And
of that, unsung hero in the corner, I believe. But
yeah,
this has definitely brought it into the spotlight.
well, for me, it was something that wasn't available, especially in Northern Ireland. Now, I was part of a very successful team, the Scottish Drum Majors display team, and we would have done like lots of Germany trips and lots of work away. And thanks to Billy Jordan, he was the founder of that, and that was through my kind of grown up teenage years. And but now there is nothing there, and for me, I wanted to, after COVID, build that platform, have a formal site that offered that unique, display. And now it is more modernized. It's more unique to that particular setting. So if we have a corporate event, then we suit the needs of that corporate event. We are doing, different things. We have the Tullylagan concert, and again, I'm using new stuff now on the 13th of April. And then we done a really fancy piece at the Kids for Cancer. So it's really important for me that it's not just replicating the same old stuff. For me, sometimes we are probably different from pipers and drummers. Their setting, they can play and do whatever they want but our setting has to be really specialized, because if we have a low roof, then there's limited to what we can do and how well
Mhm.
we can, deliver our performance. But if we've got a high roof like we did at the Ballymoney Burns night, we'll definitely showcase us at our best. So yeah, it's just about giving drum majors, especially drum majors that have won many championships, and give them that platform. And because if I'm not available, that means then there's a team that can go and do that. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be run and me there. Like, the whole purpose of it is there's a team there and anyone can deliver it.
That's it. It's definitely give a platform for a lot of
Yeah,
our successful drum majors.
yeah,
And I know recently you ran a bit of a recruitment drive, and
yeah,
very quickly that seemed to get filled up. That
yeah.
took no time.
Within 24 hours, I put up, and that's the whole purpose of it. If my elite team, which is obviously the children that I had taught, they're not children anymore, they're adults, but they're the elite team, because as a synchronized team, we are so well practiced and rehearsed that if I need any additional, say, it's, long term, with international gigs, but now I can't take six, I'll need a bigger, a bigger recruit. So for me, I have drum majors, I have pipers, I have drummers, I have bass drummers, I have tenor drummers, I have flute, I have whistle, I have guitar. Oh, you name it. Highland dancers, Irish dancers. I, I was doing work there for the first anniversary, and every single day there would have been a new update, and you'll probably see those if you follow the force. And if, I don't know if it's up yet, I'll need to check, but it's about how many people are on our database. And I'm so proud of that, because people will ring me and say, Paula, I need a piper for a funeral, or Paula, I need a piper for a wedding, or Paula, do you know any dancers? We're having some function. So I feel sometimes like a bit of a hub that people will contact. And so now
Yeah.
I have this force that I say, well, actually go and follow the force. I'm always putting up stuff. If, there's maybe, young adults that are now in the solo scene that want a wee bit of exposure, then they're the ones that I see creeping in and saying, actually, Paula, if you've got an international gig, can you keep me in mind? And that's what those adverts are for those young talents to come forward and say, actually, yeah, I want to be part of that.
There you are. So, for those watching the video right now, we're actually looking at the Force website. So, this is theforce.events. And
Yes.
this website is incredible. Not only does it give a bit of a history of the Force, to how it all started, but I've been really like delving in through your gallery, all your services that you provide.
Yeah, yeah,
serious amount of information here. So
yeah.
is this a body of work that is constantly evolving?
Yes, there is two more pieces to add to that. One of which is tuition, and hopefully I'll be able to share that soon on the social media platforms. But tuition will be going in there, and another one that's that's still in work in progress, so I won't divulge that yet. But it is very much an evolving process, and something that, as I said, ran very quickly with legs. We got it up and running, we launched, and now it's time to sit back and actually make something of it. We're doing our local charity events that we're helping raise lots of money for.
Yeah.
And we have planned international gigs for the next, I think, 5 years. So also that's exciting. And for me, all of that, force will be constantly being updated, and sharing where we're going next and what we're doing next, and add more pictures to that, because at the minute, I didn't use anything retrospective of the first. I
Yeah.
put in, all the tattoos we'd all been to as the Paula Braden class of drum majors, but now we were kind of focusing on all the things we're doing now forward as the display team. People will have seen also from the launch that we had a photo shoot, and within that photo shoot we had members that people wouldn't have maybe seen before, or people or businesses that we had worked with. And again, that's something that we're really proud of and we can showcase
Yeah,
within our website.
that's really fantastic. And we've been huge fans from the outset. And I
You
think
have.
giving drum majors this platform is an incredible opportunity for those involved. So we would encourage anyone that is curious in any way, definitely get in contact with you. And
Yeah.
yeah, well, especially with international travel plans in the future,
Yeah.
it looks like the
Yeah.
future's bright for the
The
force right
future's
now.
bright. The
Yeah,
future's bright. So
indeed. So you mentioned the Tullylagged concert that's coming up. You guys are at that, but have you any other shows coming up now for 2024?
we do. We have quite a few in the summer, but again, that might be based on the availability of the team. So at the minute, I have some of the elite team that are at uni and some elite team that are going traveling. So it's about making sure I have a team that's available and out. So we're working through our diaries at the minute. Diary is here and
There
prized
you go.
possession,
Yep.
and of course the idea book of what all needs to be done and how we make it different, and how we take it to the next level every time. And some people might look at the displays and think, oh my goodness, that's not what a drum major does. But nowadays, what does a drum major do?
There you
You know,
go.
it's
Yeah.
more than just that competition, marching up and down,
Mm.
static performance. Drum majoring has evolved, and these young new artists, not just within the display team, but on that competition field, are so much, worth so much more than just that 2.5 lengths. That they should
Yeah.
be going out and exploring all those different venues and events that are out there. So
Absolutely. So I don't know. I'm going to pick your brain a little bit now before I let you go. But tell me what kind of work goes into putting in a display, putting one together. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It seems to be there's a serious amount of moving parts, and getting it all to look and all of
yeah.
that correctly on the day. It seems nearly impossible.
Yeah, well, I've actually arranged ready for tomorrow to go out, and that's all the preparation work for well, just all the events we've done up to date, and inclusive of the Kids for Cancer that we did most recently. And the reel shows you from when I get the request in through the email, or maybe it's a phone call, and I initially get all that detail that I need. I look through what their requirements are, what their theme is. I'll talk to the lead team and say, well, does anybody have any ideas? Send them through now, because this is my kind of project planning time. So I really treat it as a project. I look through maybe their past shows, so I'm not replicating anything, that I'm not using any of music that's used before. I look at what's kind of modern now, right now in the music industry, and sometimes a lot of you see the likes of Doogie the Piper, Doogie McCants from the Chili's. He's very innovative and using a lot of stuff, and is that really what people are looking for now, within the drum major side of things? So as what's relevant, and I know for years ago at St. Gallen we used We Will Rock You, and the audience loved it, and it was so different. And I think I even dabbed. And when I look back at it now, I kind of cringe. But at the same time, at that time, in that present moment, that's
Yeah.
what was the modern thing to be doing. Like my
Hmm.
neighbor was like, please dab. But when I look back on it now, you can say, well, actually, that's what was in then. And 2 years' time, I could look back at now and say, oh, maybe you could have done that differently. But that's what is then.
Yeah.
So the project plan from there, and I pick my music. I have a log within this ideas book
Hmm.
of anything I hear and see. I listen to a lot of music, mostly through the week and traveling in the car to and from work. And I make a long list. So then I sit and listen to that and think, well, actually, yeah, that'll suit. Put on the headphones, and then I kind of my brain just goes into drum major mode. And I think that's just with my experience. So every single routine that we do is choreographed by myself. Now I do
Right.
have the input. If one of the girls said, "No, Paula, now I don't want to do that. I can't handspin for that length of time," or actually, no, that's a wee bit risky. So we will tweak it, or they'll say, "Actually, Paula, no, that doesn't look great. It looks too simple. Let's try this." And so everyone's input's gathered at that rehearsal stage. Rehearsals, sometimes we get lots of rehearsals. Sometimes by the time we get it in the diary and do the planning, we don't get that, so we have to work hard as individuals. So I'll send out the video on WhatsApp, and then they will replicate that. And then when we come together, then we hope for the best. But again, as I said, with the elite team, I know what they're capable of, and that expectation isn't as a reality. So whilst I expect it, they're able to deliver, and that's why we're called the display team of champion drum majors. We bring in host drum majors sometimes, and I've been absolutely so overwhelmed with their ability just to fit in with a niche group. Like I have one of the drum majors that just comes, and she is like, I'm talking flourish perfect just from a video. And to say I'm impressed with that is an understatement. So and I love that. I love how that group can just evolve
Mhm.
within the middle of sending out a WhatsApp video. And that just shows you the caliber of what I like to work with. So from then we go to rehearsals, and then we sort out uniform, what we're going to wear at the event. We like to wear our Force t-shirts. We've got nice long printed ones that is one of our businesses that we've been working with for the lunch, and we have like to wear those. But if it's a formal event, we will wear our full uniform. But again, we decide that the week up to the event,
Yeah.
and
There
then
you go.
we showcase.
And then you hit the stage.
We hit
Yeah.
the stage.
That's it. So I think you've said it now, and it absolutely rings true. You are a collection of world champions,
Yeah.
and yeah, it really shows in your displays. The quality that's on offer here. I have to say, there's been a few times I've watched you, and there's some tricks and things that you guys are pulling off, and I'm just like, God, you should really wear a crash helmet for that in case it goes wrong.
I know.
Does that ever happen in rehearsals? Does the thing ever go wrong?
Rehearsals, that's where I want it to happen.
Yeah.
There'll be time that there's dramas, they'll be like, oh, I'm not getting this. And even myself, I'd be so busy choreographing it, and I'd be so busy with it in my head and what's happening next. And will maybe do this, and will maybe do that. And maybe could I tweak that? So my hands are still doing what my memory tells it to do, but I'm also thinking, so by the time sometimes whenever I'm actually getting in to do it, I'm actually, I can relax now. We're actually doing it. So
Yeah.
for me, that rehearsal time sometimes is the hardest part for me, because I'm still thinking and I'm still trying to make it better and tweak it. And only I have the good team around me that follow that mad logic sometimes and say, actually, no. So when we go into the final show, that we're all very confident in what the routine is, and we can just enjoy it. And 9 times out of 10, that's usually our best performance. And that's what I love about it, because all that rehearsing and tweaking really concretes, why we go out and deliver our best every time.
Yeah, and from a lot of pipe banders listening right now, that will ring true. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
all the sweat happens in the band hall, and then you hope it happens on the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, Paula, congratulations on the 1 year anniversary of the force, and by the sounds of things, it's going to continue growing from strength to strength. So again, for folks watching the video, we are looking at the website right now, but we would encourage those listening to the pod as well. Go to theforce.events and go and check it out for more information. There you go. Oh, yeah, we have Tullylagan just around the corner, that concert
Yeah.
coming up in Cookstown. So what's happening after that then? Just into the competition season, I guess.
Into the competition season, and I like the I like to give the space to the competing drum majors to practice on
Yeah.
what they at the end of the day, that's their passion and hobby and wanting to deliver their best. Now we have a few things in the calendar, but again, that's probably mid-July, August. And sometimes that kind of usually around July time we have 2 weeks off, so we can concentrate on stuff there. There's stuff in September again, until I post it formally. I'll
Right.
keep these all in suspense
Mum's the
here.
word. Mum's the word. That's it.
But I suppose for me, I had the fortunate you know position that whenever we were turning one, that I had lots of people that helped and get me there. And at least like my family's one and foremost, they have been incredible. But they've always been that support mechanism. So if I throw a mad idea, then they're like, you can do that, so just go with it and don't second guess yourself. But I've also helped from businesses that actually came and said, I need this tomorrow, and they delivered. Or is there anything you can do to help? And they just said, tell us what you want and we'll deliver.
Yeah.
And part
Go
of
ahead
the
and give them a shout there, sure. Who are we chatting about?
yeah, well, the first anniversary was dedicated to them. So it was given back to four businesses. So the four businesses were Gillian Murphy Photography. And I'll give the rundown of the businesses and then how they actually fundamentally helped.
Yeah.
So Gillian Murphy Photography, she's based in Armagh, and while she's a good friend of mine, she's a phenomenal photographer and has real passion on gaining, so you can tell a story from a picture. Um, then there was Gary Smith and Alexa Smith from A1 Embroidery, and they were fundamental at the very start in having those t-shirts ready. I think I spoke to him on the Friday night or maybe the Thursday night rehearsal and said, Gary, I need t-shirts for Saturday. Don't know the sizes yet, but I'll fire you a text message. And I literally went to Dunn's because he wouldn't have time to buy anything. And I bought the first part of the merchandise in Dunn's. And sorry, that's not a pitch to Dunn's. You could buy them anywhere. And he had them with me on Saturday, so I could divvy those out for my lunch. So and then from that, the store came available, and again, he was instrumental, and Alexis, in trying to navigate that. And him and Craig, I think, were back and forward trying to make sure that store was fully functioning. And again, without their help, it wouldn't have got to where it was. We had then Harris Kilts, Kim and Graham Harris. And Kim is just an advocate for anything pipe bands, Ulster Scots. So Kim said, like, what do you need? This is a great idea. I know you can do it. What can we do to give? What can we do to help? And it was this, like, can we kit you out in all the same uniform? So you will have seen on the first anniversary we published a lot of stuff around the photo shoot, and they provided the kilts and uniforms. So international work, we will be kitted out together in the same uniform from Harris Kilts. And there's a few wee tweaks within that we're working towards. So hopefully on the next international gig, we'll be able to expose that and
Oh, there you
share
go.
that
I love this. Yep.
Harris. And then last but not least is another Gary Smith, who is he does drones and all of that, and he started up a new business, and he came across the force and said, like, you're new, I'm new, can we work together and collaborate? And so he came along and done loads of drone footage, and I know you shared some of that drone footage
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
on the actual day. So That stuff's incredible, and that for the month of April will be started to be shared more, and as we go along. But again, those four businesses were kind of a give back. What do you do in your first anniversary? Well, we baked a cake and we celebrated. We got lovely t-shirts from A1 Embroidery, and we utilized that opportunity to say thank you. And part of the year that we done lots of charity stuff, we done some corporate stuff, and part of that was about raising money for our lovely Northern Ireland and the
Yeah,
communities and the charities within that. And I feel personally like humbled that we can use our talent to give back. And that one year was to really focus on everything else, rather than just us. So that was my mentor for the focus for our one year. Um, we hadn't any international gigs in that year. However, that was me always a work in progress. We had to start off at the, and raise the awareness of the force whilst my name was still attached to it. But at the same time, we have from that lots of international gigs booked planned forward. So that's lovely.
there you go. So shout out to all those businesses who we've also worked with here in the Rab Show too.
Yeah,
Yeah. So not they all to help out greatly at a local level, and it's great to see all helping out with the force. Yeah,
yeah.
there you go. So Paula, thank you so much for joining us on the pod this week. I think the force is absolutely, pardon the pun, a force to be reckoned with. I think this is something we're going to be enjoying now for years to come. So
And you know
keep up
what?
the great work.
That was one of the Scottish banner. They used that like a picture, like of all the pictures I sent them of the team. This picture of me, center page, the force, a force to be reckoned with. And I was
I
like,
love that.
when I made up the name, I never even thought of of that. But anyway,
There you go.
it's there now.
So I have to ask then, I know, well, possibly I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Is there
Yeah.
any Star Wars references in there with the Force?
Absolutely none. And
None at all.
When Craig said to me, Paul, like, the force, he says, people might think it's like a police force or a fire brigade force
Yeah,
or even Star Trek. And I was like, no, but it just sits with me. So I woke up one middle of the night one night and said, yeah, the force. It has to be the force. And he
there
was
you
like,
go.
okay, sure, you work. Now it works. It works.
Oh, it does.
It's got a ring to it. So
Absolutely. Well, a very happy birthday to you.
thank you very much.
And to
Thank you.
everyone there. And no doubt we'll catch you on the grass at some point this season. Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing you all. Yeah.
Definitely. And you, Rab, and as you say, you're a great follower of us. We're a great follower of you. You've been part of our story for a long time, long before the force. So I appreciate all the likes, shares that you do too.
No bother. Not a bother. Not a bother. Well, that'll do for this week's pod.
Okay.
But Paula, thank you for joining us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.